Hi everyone. So in this video, we will cover how to tackle analogical reasoning questions. So let's start. On your official SAT, you are likely to see one question that asks you to take an idea from the text and apply it to a similar context to a similar situation in a different context. Questions like these require you to use analogical reasoning, a type of thinking that involves identifying similarities between different situations. You might be asked questions similar to these. Which choice describes a scenario most similar to that described in line 12 to 15? You might noticed you might have noticed that the choices for these questions feel off topic. For a passage about baseball, you might be offered analogy choices that talk about cooking or politics. But don't let those surface differences distract you from the task at hand. Your job will be to identify how these things are similar despite their different subject matter. All right. So, what are the common errors? Number one, similar subjects but different ideas. These tempting wrong choices include language, situations, or subjects that remind you of the topic of the passage. You might be tempted to select one of these wrong choices because you are uncomfortable selecting a choice that features a different context or scenario from that of the passage. To avoid this common pitfall, focus on the idea that is being compared, not the details. Number two, near misses. Wrong choices can also be almost right. They feel right as you begin to read them, but then they might include a word or phrase that don't work. These off words or phrases invalidate the choice. That is, they make the entire choice wrong. So be mindful of that as well. So, what are the tips and strategies? Number one, use your own words but lose the details. To answer analogical reasoning questions successfully, we need to practice seeing beyond the immediate context and simplifying the key idea of the scenario we are trying to find a match for. After reading the scenario, try to express that idea in your own words, but avoid mentioning surface details from the text. Just focus on the big picture. Number two, top tip. Analogical reasoning questions focused on scenarios. These scenarios frequently involve a relationship between two ideas, events, or entities. They might involve cause and effect relationships or chronological sequence of events. This relationship that the answer will need to match. If we can identify the underlying pattern, it will be much easier for us to find an analogous scenario in the choices. Number three, disprove the choices. So go through the choices one by one and use process of elimination. For each one, ask yourself, does this choice match the idea, relationship, or scenario that I am looking for? Eliminated choices Eliminate choices where you find points of disagreement. The correct choice will be the one you can't eliminate. Number four, top tip, consider skipping the question. So, analogical reasoning questions are generally more advanced and usually take more time to solve than other question types. If you are usually pressed for time during the reading test, consider skipping these questions entirely, and that will allow you to give more time to questions which you can easily solve. So, that's it for the analogical reasoning questions. In the next video, we will cover another question type.